Some NBA basketball players start playing basketball later in life. Many play other sports. Dirk used to play tennis until he was 13. Dennis Rodman didn't even get drafted into the NBA until he was 25 years old. Tim Duncan was a swimmer, and he didn't even start playing basketball until he was 15. And now Pascal Siakam, who's on the roster, didn't even start playing basketball until he was 16. Today, I'm going to talk about Pascal Siakam's rise to NBA stardom. Cue that intro.
When my grandma died, I jumped off the porch and started hustling.
If you haven't watched the Toronto Raptors this season, then you should know it's not Kawhi Leonard who's the key piece to the Raptors' successful season so far. It's not Kyle Lowry either. It's Pascal Siakam, who's having a career season this year. He's helped the Raptors to the third best record in the entire league. But today I wanted to talk about Pascal Siakam's story and his rise to becoming a future NBA All-Star caliber player. But let's go back in time to when Pascal Siakam was just 16. Growing up in Cameroon, soccer was the sport that all Africans mostly played, and Pascal Siakam, he played it too. And Siakam never played basketball until one day, the NBA Without Borders came to Africa, and Serge Ibaka and Luol Deng was there, and Siakam didn't even know who they were, but they ended up mentoring him, and Siakam played extremely well. But the Toronto Raptors' current GM, Masai Ujiri, back in 2012 said that, "I couldn't even tell you if he was an NBA player." That's how incredible his story was, which is crazy because he doubted him, but he ended up drafting him, which is insane. But Siakam at the time never really touched the basketball. As a matter of fact, his father wanted him to become a priest, so he spent years studying at St. Andrew's Seminary in remote Bafia, Cameroon. And he kind of didn't have no choice but to do it because he respected his father and he looked up to his father. But Siakam knew that this wasn't his calling, so he would get in trouble on purpose, so he didn't have to go to school. And he had 3 other siblings who had scholarships to schools in America, and he wanted the same thing. So after graduating from the camp with Serge Ibaka and Luol Deng, he got recruited to play at Luka Malbute's camp, who's an NBA veteran, and he would mentor Siakam to become the best player that he could be. Also, players like Joel Embiid was there as well. And at the age of 16, he was recruited to play at New Mexico State. And once he arrived at New Mexico State, he made a huge impact his freshman season. He averaged 12.8 points and 7 rebounds and helped New Mexico to the best record in the Western Athletic Conference. But his second year, he would play even better, and his last year as well. He averaged 20 points, 11 rebounds, and he shot 53.9% from the field, which is insane, and he won Player of the Year, and he helped New Mexico State to the best record again in their conference. Coming into the draft, you would think Siakam would be at least a top 15 ranked prospect coming into the draft, but he ended up being the 27th pick in the NBA draft. And the main reason why is because the Western Athletic Conference was a weak conference, but there were plenty of players who played in weaker conferences and are dominating in the NBA today. Guys like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and Dame's teammate CJ McCollum played in weaker conferences, and they helped lead their team to success. But what made this crazy is he was playing basketball for about 3 years, Siakam. So some guys, it takes them years to develop into an NBA player. But the Raptors knew what they were getting in Pascal Siakam, and just like I said earlier, it's crazy because Masai Ujiri ended up drafting him again, even though he doubted him. But he ended up making one of the best decisions that he could ever make as a GM for the Raptors. And the Raptors have one of the best development programs for NBA players. They've helped develop guys like DeMar DeRozan, of course Siakam, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and the list goes on. But Siakam has constantly improved each season. He went from averaging 4.2 points his rookie season to 7.3 points his next season, and now to 16.1 points. And he's had a huge impact for the Raptors, not just on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well. He's one of my favorite players to watch because he brings a lot of energy and hustle to the court, and he's one of the fastest players on the court. He takes really long strides, and he's developed a good 3-point shot, and it's only getting better as time goes by. And he's just a guy who you will want on your team. He's also been very efficient throughout his entire NBA career. He's shooting 55% this season from the field, which is really good. And he went from shooting 14.3% from the field to 22% from the field to now 30% from the three-point line. And it's still a work in progress for him, but he's constantly getting better at that as well. And if I'm Kawhi Leonard, I would stay on the Toronto Raptors. I know it's kind of inconvenient living in Canada, but it's the reason why is because the Raptors have a young team and they have veterans who are really good too. And the young guys, they're still developing into great players. And what makes this team really special to me is that they have no ego. They do what's right for the team to help them win. But Siakam is on the rise, and he's only getting better at everything on the NBA court. And he could guard all the positions. He has a great jump shot. And he's only getting better from this point on. He's not even in his prime, man. He's only 24. And I think he will be an all-star and one of the best power forwards in the game. From a guy who was from Africa, who started playing basketball at the age of 16, who has Luka Bobuche as a mentor, to winning WAC Player of the Year, and to now being one of the Raptors' key pieces, Siakam is coming, and he's coming fast.